welcome into another episode of the Clapp Trap. Yes, we are back again and getting back to a normal schedule. It's been a pretty wild last 3 weeks for myself personally. I got married. Look, if you're watching on YouTube, I got the jewelry to prove it. I went on my honeymoon in the Bahamas, and that was a week-long trip of a good time, I would say, and got a lot of stuff going on. I did recently have a family member pass away in my family, so I am, going and dealing with that as well. So it's been a lot going on in my life recently. So not a lot of episodes, not a lot of things going on, not a lot being put out by the Clapp Trap, but we're getting back to it now, starting with today's episode. It's going to be a shorter one. I'm just going to kind of go over everything. I got to be honest with you guys. I've been a little out of the loop recently because of the aforementioned things that have been going on in my life. But I'm getting back to it and excited for it. So we're going to go over a little bit of everything going on with the three major sports teams that are playing currently for Boston. And then we are going to have the gambling competition picks at the end of the show. If you're listening on the radio, you have to go and listen to the podcast or the YouTube channel, search the Clapp Trap. You'll be able to find all of that information for that kind of stuff, the gambling side of things. But it's been a crazy couple of weeks, not only for myself, but for the teams in New England. We have some things to talk about. Obviously, the Patriots coming off of their tough loss on Monday night. I want to get into that. The Bruins have been absolutely rolling to start off their season at 7-1 after another win against the Red Wings last night. Want to talk about that. You got the Celtics starting off at 3-1 on their season, and that's another interesting thing to start off with. I think we will start there with the Celtics, and they are coming off their first loss of the season to the Bulls. That happened on Monday night as well. Monday was a tough night to be a Boston sports fan, especially against Chicago sports fans, because they just had our number, not only in football, but also in basketball. In this one here, losing 120-102, though at times it seemed like the Celtics were trying to come back near the end. They really blew it during the middle of the game in this one. You had a 19-point lead, I believe, in the first quarter, or going into the second, and then you just kind of blew it in the middle quarters there and let this one get away from us against a really good Bulls team once again that has Jamar DeRozan on there, Vucevic, Levine. You got this new kid who I really shouldn't try to pronounce his name here, but Ayo Dosunmu. I don't know. I'll learn more about him as we go along, but he had a crazy game against the Celtics too, scoring 22 points, having 6 rebounds on 9 of 10 shooting. But the Celtics, just didn't bring the A game, I would say, overall in this one. You had a lot of interesting things happening, including the fouling out of Grant Williams. And you had, that wasn't in this game here. That was a previous game. But you've had some interesting things happening, like the fouling out of Grant Williams, who I don't even know if he actually did anything in that scenario to warrant actually getting fouled out. Maybe what he was talking about or whatever. You also had Missoula, the coach, getting ejected from a game as well. And that kind of brings me just to my point once again. As I said, this is going to be a briefer episode. I'm just kind of getting out some points that I had left over in my head about this kind of stuff. But this 3-1 start, as Celtics fans, I got to ask you, are you still backing the whole coaching matters thing? I know it's an early start. I know it's still only 4 games in, but 3-1, it looks like the Celtics just decided this year, we're going to come out to a hot start because we absolutely hated the way last year started. We hated the fact that we had to battle back through the middle of the season and wear ourselves down and get to a point where, we did battle all the way to the finals, but maybe taking that extra energy throughout the season to get back from being at 500 or below 500 to being a playoff team. Maybe that took a little too much out of us. And now we got to start off strong so we don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. I mean, they come out rattling off wins against the Sixers and the Miami Heat right out the gate. Great stuff there. Then you did also beat an Orlando Magic team, which, as we said, that was an interesting game, but it didn't really seem like Orlando, no matter how young and upcoming they have with some of their players there, new draft picks, things like that. Celtics were outmatching them for sure. And then you had the Bulls game where, as I mentioned, they are a good team. Bulls are a good team, and the Celtics are, just getting started this year. So I just got to ask, do is anyone actually missing Ime Udoka at this point? I don't see how you can be. 3-1, started off strong. Everybody's looking good. Jason Tatum averaging 32 points a game right now as we're going. 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 3.5 assists to start off the season. He's playing at that superstar level. He turned it on. He knows what he needs to do. You got Jaylen Brown also doing his thing. His numbers have gone down a little bit, but he's still averaging 24 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, and 2.8 assists in this early season here. So both of them have turned it on to start it off. You start off with that, both of them having a 35-point game together. The next game, I think one had, or Tatum had like 30 and Brown had 28 or something like that. So, I mean, those guys are ready to go to start off the season. They know what they're doing. They want to start off strong, as I said before. And then you have Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White showing up as well, Marcus Smart doing his thing. And it takes pressure away from guys like Al Horford who have to do anything. You've seen weird little flashes from Noah Vonleh that complete what used to be a bust, or I mean, he was a bust. Let's be honest. He was a bust in his career. He's fighting his way back. He has his moments where he looks like he doesn't know what he's doing still, but Noah Vonleh has been an interesting start to the season. I've liked his participation throughout. So I've been happy with the team overall, but it just keeps coming back to the question, does the coaching even matter? Does it really matter? I mean, in all honesty, I get it. Like I said, I always say this. Every one of the coaches that comes into that NBA knows what they're doing. They have a game plan. They can figure out how to coach a team. They have all of that, but it's all about the buy-in. This start has nothing more, or has proved nothing more than to say that this team just needed to buy in and understand we need to take it serious at the beginning of the year, and then we'll be okay. And they've clearly done that, and they're off to a hot, quick start here. It is going to be, continued tonight against the Cavaliers. That's a hot team in the East. Obviously, that was one of the teams after they go out there and they get Donovan Mitchell. You're wondering, is this team going to be a real roadblock for the Celtics? We're going to find out the first time tonight what they can do against this team. And like I said, they are hot right now. So it could be the case that the Cavs can come out and actually beat a Celtics team in the regular season. We'll see how things go later on. But then you go against the Wizards, and you're off and running on a tough schedule in November to start off. Once again, going to the Cavs, playing that Bulls team right afterwards that just beat you. You also have to play the Grizzlies early in the month of November. This is going to be an interesting schedule coming up. And I know that they have some tough points as well, some real crazy road trips throughout the season. I think that the big start in the beginning is going to be very crucial for this team overall. I don't see how anyone could think any other way. Obviously, you get out to a hot start. It's going to make the rest of the season a lot easier for you, and you'll run into teams that are going to kind of lay down in the regular season. So take advantage of that, right? But once again, I don't know. This is my only point about this. And we're getting to watch it play out in front of our eyes. That's why I'm so all about this part of the season. But the coaching, it's all about the buy-in. If the players buy in, if the players like the coach, they're going to be as good as they can be for as long as they like that coach. Once they don't like the coach anymore, we'll see how things go. And Mazzulla right now, he's their best friend, their buddy, and he could be the guy that they're dumping beer on or water bottles and Gatorades and things in the locker room after his first win, and it's all buddy and it's happy, and he looks like a goofball and it's funny and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. But then obviously once they don't like him anymore, he'll be a bad coach all of a sudden, a bad coach, or he'll be a bad for that situation. You've also got the Ime Udoka situation. He was a great coach. He was awesome, but it made it seem like Brad Stevens was kind of a bad coach before him because of how much they bought into Ime Udoka. Well, now Ime's gone. You got Mazzulla in there. They're buying into Mazzulla, and they started off hot 3-1. Let's see how this goes. I mean, if they dominate the regular season, as I think that they should, because once again, you're playing against teams that are very low caliber squads, and you can just take advantage of them throughout the season. This roster that we have is a finals caliber roster, in my opinion. They should be able to roll through the regular season. The playoffs is a whole nother animal, and maybe we can talk then about what the coach impact is when you get to the playoffs. But for the regular season specifically, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter who it is. As long as the players are bought in, and as long as those players want to get off to that hard start and get as many wins under their belts as possible, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I also like the fact that we're getting all these reports about how Jason Tatum is giving up fried food due to the fatigue that he felt in the finals. The guy's actually starting to take care of his body. That's nice to see. I know that you get a lot of that around the NBA specifically, but in all honesty, you get that with a lot of young players. They come into the league and they're young players, so they've had crazy metabolisms and they've just gotten there by eating whatever they want to and going out and practicing and working out and things like that, and it's been fine. But now you start to realize as you get into the NBA, as you get to a chance to play in the finals and things like that, you need to take care of your body because that's a part of what this whole process is. If you don't have that mind, body, whole thing experience or everything together on the same page, then now all of a sudden you're going to run out of gas in the finals. You're going to feel sluggish. Things are going to happen. So I'm happy to hear that Jason Tatum is giving up fried food right now because he's not trying to be out there like a James Harden from a couple of seasons ago, looking like he's 200 pounds overweight, or a Zion Williamson, who now has finally started to become healthy again, or for the first real time, I guess. We'll see how long that lasts, but he looks great this year. Zion, real quick, we all know how if you followed along with the show, not the biggest fan of Zion Williamson because of his effort and the way that he, takes his talent and just says, man, I don't need to do it. I can go eat as much as I want and look like a complete slob. I'll be fine. I'll go out there, dunk a few flashy dunks, things like that. Players are starting to take care of themselves, I guess. And that's a good thing overall for them specifically, but a good thing for the Celtics overall when Jason Tatum is taking it serious and making sure that he can be the best player that he can be with the best body that he can possibly have. I don't see how anybody could be upset with that. So good. Get rid of the fried chicken, cut out all the bad foods, give yourself a healthy diet, and Jason Tatum is going to have more energy by the time the finals roll around this year again. And I think that they're going to get there once again. Now, the other good news that also happened, and it's due to somebody spouting off, shooting their mouth off, and completely running themselves, it seems, out of town at this point. But Jaylen Brown has reportedly dropped the Donda sports, media empire there that is run or at least was partially run by Kanye West, who, like I said, shot his mouth off in the media. Now everybody hates him. Everybody's dropping him. Endorsements, players, all these kind of things. Jaylen Brown is getting off of that association. And I hope that he's going to get some better representation than what that crazy coin flip of a situation was going to be with Donda Media, because I think a lot of us were not happy with that when we heard that out the gate that he was signing with them, because it could mean that some crazy things could be coming down the pipe with Jaylen Brown, listening to Kanye West, listening to Donda Media, whatever they're called. I don't think it was going to be a good thing. I think a lot of us, when you're looking at the Jaylen Brown situation anyways, we're wondering, is he going to want to stay with the Celtics? Does he want to? These are all questions that I've had before. Does he want to stay with the Celtics? Does he want to go run his own team and be the number one player on his own team? Does he want to work with Jason Tatum? Is he going to be able to play that second fiddle? Is he going to be able to, not necessarily a team-friendly deal, but not get the absolute maximum deal that he could go with somewhere else? Is he going to be willing to do that, to stay with the Celtics and keep this championship caliber roster together? When you have somebody like the Donda or Kanye West chirping in his ear, talking about it, you don't really know what's going to happen. Maybe Kanye will be the frugal type that'll be like, you know what, this seems like a good situation for you. I want you to stay here. But he also could be the crazy person that goes in and slams his fist on the table and demands that you go out and get the biggest contract that you can possibly do. You're a Donda sports athlete. I need to see you as the top of the top. You should be leading your own team, putting all those kind of things in his ear. So I'm glad that that's not going to be happening. Now, I'm not going to say that no management group is going to do that. No agent is going to do that to him. He could run into and go get another agency, which I don't know if he already did yet or not. I didn't look into that, but he could go get another agency that's saying the same thing as what I envision crazy Kanye would say. Go out there and get your money. Go to another team. Be the number one star. You can market yourself even better if you're the number one star on the Sacramento Kings as opposed to the number two star on the Boston Celtics. Is that going to be something that he gets told by anybody? It could happen. I just feel a lot better that it's not going to be Kanye West helping him make those decisions in the future. I think that that's a good thing for the team. So happy that Kanye shot his mouth off and got ran out of town in a lot of different situations. Like I said, once again, he has now lost endorsements. He's losing athletes from his company, and he doesn't seem to care either. So good for him, whatever. I'm sure he'll be fine. But I'm just glad it feels good that Jaylen Brown is not going to be having that type of an influence in his ear at this point. That feels good to me. So I'm happy with that and the direction that this Celtics squad is going in. Coaching doesn't matter. Coaching doesn't matter. Coaching doesn't matter. All right. Let's move on to something else here. We got another team in Boston that has actually started off even better than that Celtics squad, and that is the Bruins. They started off 7-1 on this season, and they are just rolling right now. They beat the Detroit Red Wings last night by a score of 5-1, a Red Wings team that is a 500 team so far, so not even as bad as they have been in the past. They absolutely smoked this team. They beat a really good Stars team 3-1 before that in a knockdown, drag-out battle where they were just able to get the advantage 2-1 off of a great Taylor Hall one-timer from the circle, the side circle. Look on the left side there. Great, looking like Pastrnak on the other side of the ice. Love to see that. And also love to see that Taylor Hall already has 4 goals and 2 assists through the start of this. Pastrnak absolutely dominating. Once again, 6 goals, 9 assists for him to start off the season. You got the captain, Patrice Bergeron, back once again. 4 goals, 4 assists. This team is scoring like pretty much nobody other than, I think, maybe the Penguins are up there for scoring rate with the Bruins right now. I can actually try and look that up really quickly here, but I think that they're the only one that's scoring at a similar rate to what this Bruins team is doing right now. The Bruins have 35 goals for and only 21 against. The only other team that is up there right now, Penguins have 30 goals for, 21 against. That's in the Eastern Conference. And then on the Western side of things, you've got nobody except for the Kraken. The Seattle Kraken have 30 goals for, but they've given up 33 against. Sorry, the Oilers and the Kings also have 31 and 32 respectively. So Bruins, most goals in the league so far. They've obviously been dominating on that side of the ice. They've dominated on the defensive side of things as well. Obviously, Linus Ullmark, 5-0 to start off. You had Jeremy Swayman in that only loss that they had so far, but he's been also solid, I would say. Overall, Linus Ullmark looking like your starting goaltender. Been very happy about him and the way that he's been able to produce so far. So I'm glad to see where this team is. Once again, this team has to do with the coaching situation. Again, that's going to be another big thing this year. And so far, it seems like the guys are reacting well to the rah-rah, everything is good attitude of this coaching staff. You don't have Bruce Cassidy being too mean to the players and making them upset about everything. He's gone. He's over, with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Little blank right there. Like I said, I've been off for a couple of weeks here, so I gotta the brain's got to get back in action. But the Vegas Golden Knights also sitting over there at 6-2. They have a strong start. Do I see something brewing here as a possible finals match? No, that would be really hard to have the Bruins do that. I think even with this fast start for the Bruins, which I think that they desperately needed. Obviously, you just got Brad Marchand back. Hampus Lindholm is back now as well. So you're happy to see that. You still need McAvoy, and this team was very beat up going into this season. You didn't know how things were going to go. You didn't know how Patrice Bergeron was going to look starting off the year. You didn't know how Krejci was going to look starting off the year. You didn't know if you were going to get production from guys like AJ Greer are out there scoring 3 goals, 2 assists. Happy to see that kind of stuff. So Krejci's been fine. Bergeron's been fine. Marchand's back now from his injury. Happy to see that. Good start for him. Makes the man advantage even better when you have Marchand out there. He had a goal, or has had 2 goals, and an assist. Whoa, I'm all over. See, my brain, it's still just not working right. But I'm getting there. It's been a great start to the season, but I was one of the major people going and saying that Bruce Cassidy should not have been fired. Bruce Cassidy should not have been let go. Unlike in basketball, I feel like the coach has a lot to do with hockey and things and the way that things go. And maybe I was wrong on this situation. Maybe it really did take them bringing in a guy who was going to pump up the players more and be more of a cheerleader than an actual straight in your face kind of guy who's going to tell it how it is and be very blunt with his comments. That's Bruce Cassidy. I thought that the Bruins would be big and tough and strong with a coach like that and be able to handle that and the criticism that you would get from it. And I mean, let's be honest, the Bruins were insanely good with Bruce Cassidy on managing the ship, right? Riding the ship. I'm not going to say insanely good. I'm not saying that they went out and they won Stanley Cups or they were even in the finals, but they were consistently a team who was in the playoffs every single year. You're getting upwards of 100 points every year going into the playoffs. This team was good under Bruce Cassidy. So I thought everything was good, but behind the scenes, I get it. When everything is too doom and gloom, too negative, things like that, the players, maybe they don't respond the way that you would think that they normally would. Maybe that's the case. And that's how things went here, because obviously they look great to start off the season. And you needed that, as I said, because they were so banged up going into the season. Everybody was worried about that. But you're still going to need more. You're still going to need more. And I hope that this strong start doesn't have not Bruce Cassidy, he's gone, doesn't have Don Sweeney sitting back on his heels being like, you know what? Okay, we're good. We're good. This team, see, I told you guys we're going to be fine. Get rid of Bruce Cassidy, and now we're good to go. I want him to be on those phones, ready to go, calling somebody and saying, hey, I still need another forward. I need another center. I need somebody who's going to back up third line, second line. I need to get better on the offensive side of things. I could use another defenseman, another big guy who's going to be able to clog up the lanes and really play good, strong defense for good minutes for this team. You're going to need more players on this squad if they're going to really make a good, true run to the finals. And it's possible. I do honestly think that this team could do something like that. I believe in Linus Ullmark. I believe in Jeremy Swayman. I think that this team can make a run. You're going to still need more help. We know that this team can be good in the regular season, as it is right now, and especially with the help of Hampus Lindholm for an entire season and things like that, or the majority of a season. They're still going to need help. They're still going to need another forward. We're going to talk about that more as the season goes on. I don't see how anyone could look at this squad and think that, okay, that's good. We're good. We're up. We're 7-1 to start off the year. I think we're good. I think that this team is going to be fine. No, we need to be buyers at the trade deadline, even sooner if needed, and bring in talent that can help this team, especially offensively, because as we know, once you get into the playoffs, sometimes full lines of players disappear. You need to have multiple lines that can contribute. And otherwise, this team is going to be a dead duck once it gets into the playoffs. So, Don Sweeney, great for you. Good start. Like I said, I think that Don Sweeney's head is on the chopping block now because you got rid of their last line of defense. You fired the coach. Now it's all on you. You brought in a new coach. They have a hot start. You brought back some players. Krejci's back. Bergeron's back. This team can make a run. If they don't, and if you don't do anything at the trade deadline, I got to be honest, you're the next head to go. You got to be the next one, Don Sweeney. I liked both of them. I like both Don Sweeney and Bruce Cassidy, but you got rid of Bruce Cassidy to make it seem like, okay, this was the major issue. Now you brought in your new coach. They have a strong start. Your head is on the chopping block, Don Sweeney. I can't say that enough. That has to be the case with this team. But great start off for the season. And I'm hoping that this team is going to be able to make a legitimate run. I still feel, though, like they need more if they're going to get back to where they want to be. And that's the ultimate goal, which is the Stanley Cup. All right. That's enough of the Bruins right there. We got another topic. We got the Patriots to finish off with. So let's get into those. They had the tough loss against the Bears on Monday night. This game should not have gone down the way that it did, in my opinion. I'm very upset with how things went. You lose 33-14 to that Bears team on Monday night after, you got back to 500. You look great against, obviously, the Lions and the Browns. You absolutely beat up on both of those teams, and you You lay an absolute egg, in my opinion, against that Bears squad. So many things that went wrong in this one, starting with the handling of Mac Jones. I don't understand what the point of bringing Mac Jones back to start was if you were going to have the shortest leash I've ever seen in my entire life. I understand. Don't get me wrong. That pick, absolutely inexcusable from Mac Jones. You can't throw picks the way you've been doing all season. You can't throw them the way that you did it in the first couple of games. Then you go and get injured, and this is your first action back, and you do it again. You do it again, Mac. It just feels to me, the Mac Jones situation, he's now gotten to the point where he's trying to do too much. It's his sophomore year, and he thinks that he needs to be doing a lot more than maybe he does, right? The thing that's been great about Bailey Zappi is that he's a blank slate. He's going to go in there and listen to whatever the coaches have to say, and he's going to do it exactly how the coaches say he should do it. The issue with Mac Jones is he played well enough last year that going into this season with all the offseason talk and the way that they changed up the coaching staff and everything like that, he feels he can go in there and change up the play, make a couple of reads, make the bigger throw, try and go down the field, do all of these things. He thinks in his mind he's already there. And I think he can get there eventually, but he is nowhere close to there right now. Right? He is still second year into the NFL, still trying to figure things out. And everybody, or the majority of players, have a sophomore slump. That's just how it is. So you're going to kind of not necessarily regress, but you're going to plateau at times. And then you have to figure out how to bust through that ceiling right there to get to the next level. But you also have to add on to the fact, Patriots fans, as we all complained about, you have Matt Patricia running this offense and maybe Joe Judge also chiming in on different things. That's completely different than McDaniels from last year. So you bring in a whole new offensive coordinator, whole new offensive system in a sense, because they're starting to call plays differently. They're trying to add in more zone runs and things like that. They're trying to add different RPO type plays into it that we don't normally have in this Patriots offense. So as soon as Mac Jones started to get comfortable in the Patriots offense from last year, they switch it up into this year. So that's one thing that's going on with it. You also have just the media and everybody talking about how big of a bozo Matt Patricia is, myself included. Everybody was talking about how much we hated the decision to put Matt Patricia in there. And obviously Mac Jones hears that. So a part of him is probably going into there thinking, this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. I'm trying to have conversations with him. He doesn't even know what's going on. Conversations I have with Josh McDaniels were much more intelligent when it came to the offensive side of the ball. Matt Patricia is just trying to figure things out. I have to go out there and do more than what they're asking of me, or else this isn't going to work. And he wants it to work just the way we want it to work. So in my opinion, the whole problem with Mac Jones is the fact that all of the noise got to him. All of the noise, all of the haters that hated the fact that Matt Patricia was going to be the offensive coordinator got to him a little bit. So he needs to go up to the line. He needs to make a million audibles, sound like Peyton Manning, and just be screaming at the team, different routes, and change everything up. And eventually that catches up to you. Pretty quickly, it caught up to him already in this season, because when players aren't on the same page, you've seen it with Devontae Parker at different times. You don't even have your safety blanket and Kendrick Bourne out there because he's in hot water with the coaches. You're trying to go out there with new players and on the fly change up plays. They don't know what's going on. Now you're causing confusion, and that's where some of his interceptions have come into. He's also trying to extend plays. He's not going with the first read like a Bailey Zappi has been doing. He's looking for the second read, the third read, and then he's either getting sacked or he's getting rushed out of the pocket, throwing it up into the air, which is inexcusable. Once again, I can't believe that he does that kind of stuff. He needs to stop the just randomly throw it up into the air and hope that my guy will go get it stuff. You can't have that. It destroys drives. I don't care if it's on first, second, or third down. You destroy a complete drive when you do that kind of stuff. But the reason to me the Bailey Zappi stuff has been working is because he is just listening to the coaching staff. He goes out there and he gets a read. Your first read is dump it down to Ramondre Stevenson. What does he do? He goes out there, he dumps it down to Ramondre Stevenson. and Stevenson maybe breaks a tackle or two and gains you 6 or 7 yards, and that looks good. Or your first read is this slant over the middle to Jakobi Meyers. That's the only read he goes for. He throws it to him, and that's it. He is going with what the coaching staff is telling him to do, and it's working out for him because he's just trusting the process. Now, it's not always working out for him, and obviously he got completely exposed in that Bears game with some of his really bad throws, like that second interception that he had, absolutely terrible throw behind the player, and easily gets picked off. But these plays are working out for him because he's just going with that first read. When it's a deep ball, he's just throw it to a place where either Devontae Parker can get it or it goes out of bounds kind of thing. And most of the time it sails way over his head and out of bounds, and he's been getting some lucky pass interference calls as well. And yes, in this game, you had Mac Jones get pulled out, and immediately Bailey Zappi comes in and leads the team to the only 2 touchdown drives that they had all game. And you got a huge bump up from the crowd. The players are feeling it. Zappi's feeling it. The other team is feeling it. Oh, man, look at how excited they are for this kid. And he instantly is completing throws, little dump down throws, things like that. The crowd gets bigger. The crowd gets bigger. All that momentum is going to work for you. But eventually, you also have to try and win the game without that extra motivational boost that they were getting. And once that started to happen, Bailey Zappi got exposed. The Patriots got exposed. Once again, the Patriots defense got exposed to the fact that they were playing against a running quarterback. So he was able to do whatever he wanted to on crucial downs. That sucked for us as well. But specifically with the Bailey Zappi versus Mac Jones situation, to me, it just feels like Mac Jones is trying to do too much because he's listened to all the haters and thinks that Matt Patricia is a bozo, as you know, a lot of people have said that he is. So he feels like he needs to go up there and do a lot to continue to progress himself forward in his career. Bailey Zappi is just a brand new, wide open, unwritten on book, going out there and trying to just do exactly what the coach tells him. If I'm supposed to dump it off, I dump it off. If I'm supposed to hand it off, I hand it off. I never change the play. I'm never looking for a specific matchup or anything like that. I'm just doing what I'm told. And it's worked a little bit, but it also got extremely exposed against the Bears in that game. So I don't know. Was this is this a situation where we now have a QB controversy? No, it should not be that way. I feel like, honestly, shame on you Patriots fans who went to this game and so quickly were booing Mac Jones and screaming for Bailey Zappi, because you got what you wanted. You got what you wanted, and what you found out was he is just a mediocre quarterback so far. I'm not going to tell you that he's never going to be able to turn into a serviceable quarterback in the NFL. He probably will at some point. He'll probably figure it out, and he'll be good enough to be a good backup quarterback in this league at very least, right? But right now is not the time. Right now is not the time, people. We're trying to win games right now. And I'm not going to also tell you that Mac Jones would have been able to get you back into the game, but the kid needs more than just a couple of possessions and a bad interception before he gets yanked. You need to give him at least the first half. You are completely demoralizing the kid by just pulling him instantly with the shortest leash I've ever seen. So there not only shouldn't be a quarterback controversy, but they need to give more of a rope to Mac Jones. And I don't care if that makes him hang himself. I think that he needs more of a rope to be able to work himself into a game. We all know he needs to work on the interceptions, the throwing in up balls, and all that kind of stuff. But I would say half of that is just getting more continuity with the offense, getting more of a relationship with some of his new receivers and players that need to, the Tyquan Thorntons of the world, the Devontae Parkers of the world, those guys. He needs to get on the same page as them and work forward with them, in my opinion, for him to work out. Bailey Zappi, all you're getting out of him is an energetic little rush of energy. An energetic rush of energy. That's not a great way to describe that, Zach, but he's just giving you that rush of it's a different quarterback. We got to work harder for him. You almost feel like the defense just steps up even more. I'm not saying that this is actually what's happening, but the defense steps up even more because they know that they're not getting much out of the offense with Bailey Zappi. So they have to go out there and stop them. And you saw that against the Lions. You saw that against the Browns. They were able to go out there and make big play after big play. But also, they weren't facing off against a quarterback that could run. That's as simple as it is. At the end of the day, when you got a quarterback, and I'm not saying that Justin Fields is good, he's not yet, maybe somewhere down the line, but he can run the ball. He can be a 250-pound off or running back basically, and do these direct snap plays and things like that. And that always seems to throw the Patriots off whenever they do that. It happened earlier against Lamar Jackson too in the season. You can't face off against a running quarterback like that if you're the New England Patriots and lose contain constantly. I don't know what they're going to do to be able to remedy that. Eventually, they need to figure out how to play against rushing quarterbacks because other teams can do it. Other teams can hold Justin Fields to not being able to have his best statistical day of the entire season. Patriots can't do it. So that's the bigger issue, I think, in this one. You couldn't handle a rushing quarterback. And so maybe I'm also thinking that the Patriots coaching staff kind of overlooked this game. Maybe that's what we're thinking at this point, because it seemed like the game plan that they brought out there, first of all, they were just mostly thinking about which quarterback are we going to use and how quickly are we going to pull one of them. That seemed to be the biggest thought process for the Patriots coaching staff. They didn't really have their full head in the game plan against the Chicago Bears. So it feels like they overlooked the Bears. It feels like they did that. It feels like they went out there on Monday night and thought that they could just play good defense, run the ball, and we'll just figure out the quarterback situation while we're in this game. We don't have to really care about the game itself. That's what it felt like here. So, it was a weird situation. And I think Belichick was wrong for pulling Mac Jones that early. I think that was a silly decision. And I think that regardless of what turned out to be the next couple of drives for Bailey Zappi and what they were able to do and scoring touchdowns and things like that, I think that you were wrong for not giving Mac Jones time to work himself into that offense. Sure, berate the kid on the sidelines for the stupid interception that he had. He deserves it. That was a ridiculous throw, and you can't have that kind of a play happen as the quarterback just trying to get back into the good graces after being on injury. But pulling him that early is it's a ridiculous decision to me, and I'm upset. I'm disappointed with not only Bill Belichick, but I'm disappointed with the fan base. I'm disappointed with the Patriots fan base and how they were so quick to boo Mac Jones, so quick to want Bailey Zappi in there. And look what you got. Look what you got. Because he had a couple of good drives, but then he had horrible situations. I'm not going to tell you that the first pick was his fault. It got batted up into the air. I'm not going to tell you that the fumble was his fault. Jacoby Myers didn't really give him a good running back pocket, as they say, to hand the ball off into. But that second interception, his third turnover of the game for that offense, absolutely terrible. Bailey Zappi, that was the worst throw he's thrown yet as a professional athlete. You can't have that kind of stuff. Absolutely the worst. So I don't know. You get what you get, and anyone who's saying that Mac Jones shouldn't be the starter going into the Jets, I don't know what you're looking at anymore. Bailey Zappi just showed you what he really is. Okay, anybody who's still doing the Zappi hour crap and all that kind of stuff, put it away. Put it away for a little bit. Back Mac Jones the way that you're backing Zappi. Stop jumping all around, all over the place. We only need to have one quarterback. It's not going to be Zappi anytime soon. Let's back Mac Jones. That's just how I feel about it. Now, is Mac Jones going to be able to bounce back from this situation? I don't know. It takes a lot to go down from injury, come back, and then within the first couple of drives, you're getting booed by your own fan base after a bad decision. Yes, on your own account, it was a bad decision, bad pick. I can't say it enough times. But you go out there, you get booed by your fan base, and now you're just gonna bounce back and be okay. I don't know. Is that going to be the case? I don't know. We're going to have to find out about that. But we're going to have an interesting schedule coming up going forward. We have the Jets now. We're going to play at the Jets on Sunday. Then you have a game against the Colts at home, the Colts team that just benched Matt Ryan for the rest of the season. They're going to have a rookie quarterback there. Then you have your bye week, and then it's a home game against the Jets. Now, the Jets have played really good so far. They much better than the Patriots have, right? Their defense has been good. Their offense has been good enough. They've been able to get into games against teams that you thought that they shouldn't be in. And so they're going to be an interesting team. I still feel pretty good as a Patriots fan against this Jets team. Maybe not this week. This week is going to be the tougher week, but in two home games against the Colts and the Jets, I feel really good about this Patriots defense, about going up against a rookie quarterback or Zach Wilson, who's basically a rookie quarterback in these next three games. I feel pretty confident that we can go 2-1 at very minimum in this next 3-game schedule here. You got the bye week in there as well. And then the schedule starts to get really tough, right? Then you hit Thanksgiving. So if between now and Thanksgiving, this team can go at least 2-1 and get back up above 500 at what would, or no, I'm sorry, at 500, we'd be 5-5 at that point. I feel pretty good about where we are. I feel pretty good about where we are, and then we'll see how the rest of this tough schedule goes. When you go against the Vikings, then the Bills, then the Cardinals, then the Raiders, then the Bengals, then the Dolphins, then the Bills to go the rest of the season, I don't know. Now I'm looking at it and saying we need to go 3-0 over these next 3 games to have even a shot at making the playoffs. We'll see how things go. I expect good things over these next 3 weeks, though. We'll calm things down against the Jets. Hopefully, Mac Jones can go out there and quiet the haters a little bit, get this team back on the right track. There won't be a quarterback controversy going forward, and we'll see how things go. I do think that the defense needs to really step up in these next 3 games specifically. Matt Judon needs to continue doing his thing. He's been having an absolute monster of a season once again to start off the year, but keep it in control. I need you to have energy to the back half, because the back half is going to be the worst part of this season for this Patriots team. We'll see how that goes. I need the offensive line to keep working well, right? We've had good offensive line play. The running backs are playing really well. I need those guys to keep stepping up. The quarterback situation will figure itself out. Mac Jones will be okay. This is going to be fine, right? Wait, should I be having the room burning around me right now? Am I doing that of a live meme of the room burning around me? I'm sipping my coffee saying everything's fine right now. Maybe that could be the case, but I still feel good going into the next 3 games here for this Patriots team. Then talk to me after that. Talk to me once we reach my favorite holiday of the year, which is Thanksgiving. We'll see how this team is doing at that point. All right, that's going to do it for today's show, this part of the show. We do have the gambling competition. I will do those picks as well next. But you got to go on and listen to the podcast, or go on to the YouTube page or just look for the Clapp Trap. You'll be able to get that. If you're listening on the radio, you're not going to get the live picks. We'll get those to you later, but follow along. Also, I'll be tweeting them out at the Clapp Trap on Twitter, also on Instagram at the Clapp Trap, giving out little clips of everything that's happening throughout. So glad to be back. I'll be back again on Monday, and throughout the next week and going forward, we'll be back to a legitimate schedule. It's been a hectic couple of weeks for me, but it's been some happy stuff, some sad stuff too, and we're getting back to things. So happy to be back, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, it's time for everyone's favorite gambling segment. We got the gambling picks for myself. I got a couple of voicemails from the guys, and one of our people is missing so far, so that's going to be mystery picks. We'll probably have to put that out on the social media side of things, but I wanted to get started here with my own picks to get it going. Then we'll have Hey Y'all, it's Cam, and then we also have Mendez as well. Been a little bit up and down recently for the guys overall. We'll get the standings out there as well on social media, so you can see how we've been picking, see who you want to follow, who you want to fade. I've been on an up and down battle. I had a perfect 5-0 week. Then the next week I went 0-5. Then after that, I'm 2-3. I've been all over the map. So I don't know what you should do. Should you follow me? Should you fade me? Who knows? We're going to find out how things go going forward. But I'll get mine started off with the Bears team total under 16.5 points. Yeah, you heard it. The Bears coming off of the big Monday night win against the Patriots. They scored over 30 points for the first time all season. You got to see that because the Patriots absolutely stink at playing against running quarterbacks, and they were able to handle us very well on that side of the ball. They had scored 12 points or less in 3 out of their last 5 games before that, though. 12 points or less, the Bears did. Their offense has not been good this year. Overall, they've been in some games, but they have scored very few points in a lot of their games. The Cowboys, on the other hand, have also been really good on defense. They've given up 16 or fewer points in 4 of their last 5 games, including only 6 points to the Lions last week and 10 points to the Commanders back in week 4, their previous home game before that. Cowboys at home, Bears coming off of a Monday night big victory. They're in for a letdown. They're on a short week playing Monday night and then at a 1 p.m. game or on Sunday. I think that the Cowboys are going to be able to shut them down in this one. So give me Bears team total under 16.5 points to start off my card. Next game I'm going with Patriots Jets over 40 points. Yes, you heard me, over 40 points. Even if that after that last performance by the Patriots and the way I've talked about them all show, I do think that they will bounce back offensively. I think that Mac and the offense need to show up after a terrible game where Wilson did get benched in that one. He needs to come back and own this offense. And I think it's going to really start with the run game, but I think that will open up some passing lanes for Mac. And I think he'll take advantage of the throws that he has and not throw any stupid picks. So I think he'll be good there. It also just feels like one of those close games that both teams are going to be scoring close to 20 points going into the fourth quarter. And then somebody's going to score again in the fourth quarter to put it over 40 points. I don't know if that's going to be the Jets or the Patriots. That's just how I'm feeling in my gut right now. So give me Patriots, Jets over 40 points for my second pick. Third pick, I'm going Giants, Seahawks under 44.5 points. In this one, Seahawks score significantly more points on the road than they do at home. In home games this year, Seattle has scored 17 points, 23 points, and 19 points, while on the road in their last three games, they've scored 48, 32, and 37. So way more points on the road than they do at home. It could be possibly because of the weather usually in Seattle, and the weather in this one is supposed to be low 50s and raining. So I expect it to be more of a run-heavy game, and they're going to be trying to hold that Giants team down. Giants have given up 23 or less points in every single game this year, and 20 or less points in 3 of their last 4 games. So they've been playing good defensively. For the most part, they don't score a ton of points. They score just barely enough to win. So I'm expecting this one to be both teams in the low 20s or maybe one of them in the high teens. And this one's going to stay under. So give me Giants Seahawks under 44.5 points for my third pick. My fourth pick, 49ers Rams under 42.5 points. This one's a defensive battle and a battle of, some inept offense at points in this one here. 49ers coming off of a terrible defensive performance against the Chiefs. Chiefs arguably one of the best offensive teams in the league, but still 49ers gave up 44 points at home. They'll be looking to bounce back defensively. They have held teams to 19 points or less in 5 of their 7 games. So the Niners defense is legitimate, though they did give up 44 to the Chiefs and 28 to the Falcons before that. I think they're going to bounce back here against the Rams. The Rams are coming off of a good win against the Panthers and a bye week, but still have not completely figured out their offense yet, scoring 10 points or less in 3 of their 6 games this year. 10 points or less. I still don't think that they're going to be able to figure things out. I think this 49ers defense, even on the road, is going to be really good. I'm looking for this game to stay under, so give me 49ers Rams under 42.5 points for my fourth pick. My last pick, Commanders Colts over 39.5 points. Colts have given up at least 20 or have given up 27 and 24 points in their last 2 home games. And they might end up getting a little bit of a spark from Sam Ehlinger on the offensive side of things, just for this game. I know that Matt Ryan's gotten benched for the entire year. Maybe the offense will kind of rally behind him. They'll be able to do things against a Commanders defense that's not that great. Commanders have looked like they figured out their offense a little bit last week against a tough Packers defense. I think that they've been able to kind of put together a couple of weapons that have looked decent, and I think that they'll be able to score on this Colts defense. So, I mean, this one's also just kind of a gut feel pick, so take that for what it is. But I'm taking Commanders Colts over 39.5 points for my 5th pick. Those are my picks right there. We'll see how I do. As I said before, I've been up and down. I gave you a perfect week, then I gave you an 0 for 5 week, and then a 2 and 3 week. So I've been all over the map recently. Take it for what it is. I think that there are going to be some good picks here, but we'll see how it goes. All right, now it's time to get into Cam's picks. Let's see what he's got.
Hey y'all, it's Cam here with the picks for the week. We got 2 in college, 3 in the NFL. We'll start with college. We got Charlotte and Rice under 59.5. Rice plays at a really slow tempo, and both teams are bad at scoring touchdowns once they get in the red zone. So I think that number is too high. Next, we got UTEP -1.5 versus Middle Tennessee State. I just think UTEP is the better team, and they're at home, so I'll take the 1.5. Now to the NFL, we have the Lions +3.5 against the Dolphins. The Dolphins like whole secondary, basically. So I think Detroit can score pretty easily. You got the Cardinals +4 against the Vikings. The Cardinals have been really good on the road against the spread under Kingsbury. And the Vikings, even though they're 5-1, I think are a bit of a team. Last is the 49ers against the Rams. The 49ers have pretty much smoked them every time they played recently. And I think with McCaffrey, that'll just add a new dimension. So to recap, we got UTEP -1.5, Charlotte Rice under 59.5. Detroit +3.5, Arizona +4, San Francisco -1.5.
All right. Well, I mean, you heard it there. Pretty good overall voicemail, but it seemed like he was in a hurricane or something. Tornado came through at some points. But, if you're listening on the podcast, we will have all the picks up on Twitter. So go there to see all of Cam's picks. Also, if you're looking on YouTube right now, then you already know I just put all the picks up while the voicemail is going. So those are Cam's picks, a couple in college, more in NFL, and we'll see how he does. Let's get on to Mendez's picks next.
Clappy, happy birthday, bud. All right, week 8, straight to business. First game isn't a player pick. I like Patriots -2.5 against the Jets. They're not that bad. That was obviously a bad week last week. I don't know why everyone's on the Jets. I don't see how they're moving the ball without Breece Hall. They lost the left guard, too. This is a textbook Patriots bounce back game. I like the -2.5. I like Stevenson over 62.5 rushing yards against the Jets, too. I think they'll rely on the run, try to get some play action, get some good looks for Max, hopefully simplify the offense for him. I love that number for Stevenson. My third pick, Derrick Henry over 100.5 rushing yards against Houston. He always tears up Houston. Tennessee maybe going with Malik Willis. They're really going to try to pound the ball. Henry's been on fire. I'll take that all day. Fourth one, Trevor Lawrence over 11.5 rushing yards against Denver. Denver, tough defense. Lawrence, he can move. I think they're going to really focus on ETN. I think they'll get out of the pocket a couple times. That's kind of a low number. Last one, Chris Olave, your boy. I think you rejected my trade request for him before I even finished sending it. Over 62.5 receiving yards versus the Raiders. Raiders can't stop the pass. Saints have literally nobody else. That line will probably move up closer to game day, but I love that number. All right, buddy, let's win some money. Well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. I do love Chris Olave. And yeah, I mean, he's got some interesting picks there. He thinks that the Patriots will do good. He thinks that this is a good bounce back one. I do too. I think that it'll be good, but I do think it'll be closer than people think. That's me personally. And he did mention it is my birthday. So thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really bring it up, but whatever. Those are Dan's picks. You got mine, Cam's, and Mendez's picks. As I said, they'll all be up on Twitter. We'll also have Mystery Man Matt, who wasn't able to get his picks in on time. We're going to get his picks up as well, so look on social media for that. But that'll do it for today's show. Just want to say thank you to everyone tuning in, listening along. We'll be back again next week with more picks and more of everything that you want to hear. We'll do Monday night game stuff, all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to a good weekend of football. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I'll see you next week.